$1 million in cash, $650 million in investment property. That sounds like a scam headline, I know, but it's not a lottery ticket and it's not a get rich quick pitch. It's a machine with three gears that real investors have been running for decades. And today I'm going to pull it apart so you can see every single moving piece. Gear one recycles your money so it never gets used up. Gear two is a loan that doesn't care what your tax returns say, and it has no limit on how many properties you can own. And gear three is compounding, the same force behind every giant fortune. And stick with me because I'm also going to show you exactly where this machine breaks and how to make sure it doesn't break on you. Let's get into it. Quick note before we dive in. I'm a licensed mortgage broker, and this is education, not financial advice for your exact situation. The numbers today are clean, round examples. Real deals are messier and terms change with the market. So use this to understand the machine and then talk to a licensed pro. That's literally what I do all day before you move for real money. Oh, and one quick favor, please, before we start, tap the like button. For me, it costs you absolutely nothing and it genuinely helps. Okay, here we go. Let's start with how most people build a rental portfolio because it's the slow way and almost nobody realizes it. You save up, you buy a rental with 20% or 25% down, and then you start saving all over again. Say you've got that 1 million and you buy $300,000 rental houses the normal way, 20% down at 60,000 plus closing cost. All it is about 70K a house. Run the math and your million buys you about 14 houses ever. Then the cash is gone and the machine stops. Now, 14 rentals is a nice portfolio. Don't get me wrong, but that's a 4 million portfolio, not 650 million. And here's a part that really stings. If you're using regular conventional loans, the bank stops you before your money even runs out because Fannie Mae caps you at 10 finance properties. 10. There is literally a rule that says you're done. So there are two walls in your way. Your cash runs out and the bank cuts you off. The machine you're about to build knocks down both. Gear one is a strategy investors called BRRRR, BRRRR, buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat. I did a whole episode on it, but here's the engine in one single deal. You buy a beat up house nobody wants for $220,000 and you put $80,000 into it fixing it up. So you're all in for $300,000. But here's the thing. Once it's fixed up and rented, that house is not worth what you paid. It appraises for $400,000 because you bought it ugly and you made it nice. That's called forced appreciation. You didn't wait for the market, you created the value with the rehab. Now comes the magic step. You go to a lender and refinance it at 75% of the new $400,000 value. And 75% of $400,000 is $300,000 wired right back to you. Stop. Look at what just happened. You own a $400,000 rental. A tenant is paying it off. You created $100,000 of equity out of thin air. And every dollar you started with is back in your pocket. Ready to do it again. Your money didn't get spent, it got recycled. Now scale it up with 1 million. You can run about 3 of these projects at the same time. 900K working and 100K held back as a cushion because you always keep a cushion. A full cycle takes roughly 6 months, so that's about 6 houses a year. By the end of year 2, you're holding around 12 houses. Call it 5 million in property, with over 1 million of equity you've created from nothing. And your original million is still sitting there intact, ready for round 3. That's the difference. The normal way, your millions buy 14 houses and dies. This way, it buys houses forever. Real quick, because this genuinely matters. If that refinance step just blew your mind a little, if you didn't know your money could come back like that, do me a favor and tap that like button. And if you want the rest of this playbook, hit subscribe while you're at it. Here's the honest reason I asked. This channel is small, and every single like and every subscribe tells YouTube to show this to the next investor who's out there buying rentals the slow way, because nobody ever showed them the machine. It's free. If it takes it takes 1 second, and it's the biggest thing you can do to help me making a difference on these videos. Okay. Gear 2, the loan that makes all of this repeatable and unlimited. Because here's the question the sharp viewers are already asking me. Wait a minute. Who is giving me all these loans? I'd have 12, 20, 50 mortgages. No bank approves that. And you're right. A regular bank doesn't. Conventional loans want your tax returns, your pay stubs, your debt ratios to come in line. And like I said, they cap you at 10 financed properties. At scale, that system breaks, especially because smart investors write off everything, so their tax returns look tiny on purpose. Gear 2 is the answer, the DSCR loan. DSCR stands for Debt Service Coverage Ratio, and it's beautifully simple. The lender doesn't qualify you, they qualify the property. One question: does the rent cover the mortgage payment? On your house, the new payment, that's principal and interest, taxes, and insurance, would run about $2,400 a month, and the house rents for about $2,600. Rent covers the payment, so the deal qualifies. No tax returns, no pay stubs, no arguing with an underwriter about your write-offs. And here's what matters most for the machine. DSCR loans have no cap on how many properties you can finance. 10, 50, 200. As long as each deal carries itself, there's another loan waiting. And no, you don't pay some huge penalty rate for that flexibility. DSCR rates today run very close to a regular conventional rate. The loan is the whole reason I'm in this niche. I actually wrote the book on it, DSCR Loans Made Simple. It's on Amazon, and the link is down in my description if you want the full playbook. So Gear 1 recycles your cash. Gear 2 hands you unlimited fuel. Now for Gear 3, the one that turns millions into hundreds of millions, compounding. While you're running BRRRR cycles, the quiet things are happening to every house you already own. The properties are appreciating, rents are climbing, and your tenants are paying down your loans every single month, which means your portfolio is quietly swelling with new equity. And every few years, you harvest it. You refinance the properties you've been holding, you pull out that new equity, tax-free, by the way, because loan money is not income, and you use it to run more projects at the same time. 3 at a time becomes 6, 6 becomes 15. The portfolio starts feeding itself, and the growth curve bends from a straight line into a rocket. Here's what that curve actually looks like. 5 million doubles to 10 million, 10 to 20, 20 to 40, 40 to 80, 80 to 160, 160 to 320, and 320 doubles past 650 million. That's 7 doublings. If the machine doubles your portfolio about every 3 years, which is the pace aggressive full-time investors shoot for, you're looking at roughly 25 years start to finish. That's not overnight money, that's a career, but it starts with one ugly house and one refinance. No one dose of realism because I promised you honesty. 650 million of single family houses would be around 1,600 houses. And nobody on earth wants to manage 1,600 water heaters. So here's what actually happens on the way up. Someone in the middle, you start trading up. You use 1031 exchanges. I've got a whole episode on that on the channel, to roll stacks of little houses into apartment buildings without paying tax on the gains. And the math doesn't change. Buy tired buildings, fix them up, raise the rents, refinance, repeat. The checks just get bigger. You wrap the whole thing in LLCs for protection. That's another episode I have, is LLCs on the channel. And at that, the very top end, I'll be straight with you. The biggest operators also bring in a partner. Money to move even more faster. But the engine underneath every one of these giant portfolios is the recycling, the property qualifying loans, the compounding, is exactly what I just showed you. Which brings me to the part most videos skip, where this machine breaks. Number one is leverage. Cuts both ways. At 75% loans, a 25% market drop erases your equity on paper. That is survivable, but only if your rents still cover your payments. And you never have to sell at the bottom. Cash flow is your armor. Only buy deals that carry themselves. Number two, the rehab. Every one of these deals lives and dies on buying right and fixing on a budget. Go 50,000 K over and the refinance won't pull your money back out. Number three, the appraisal. Sometimes it comes in low and your cash gets stuck in the deal for a while. That's exactly why you keep the cushion. Number four is rates. When rates jump, payments rise, and refinances get tighter, and the machine will slow down. It doesn't die, but you have to run it more carefully. And number five is the sneaky one, discipline. Every dollar you harvest is going to whisper, buy a boat. The investors who get big are the ones who put it back in the machine. And listen, you don't have to run this thing for 25 years. Stop at 10 doors. Stop at 30. The math works exactly the same, and even the small version changes your family's future. So let's put the whole machine back together. Gear one, BRRRR. Build it ugly, fix it, rent it, refinance at the new value, and your cash comes back to do again. Gear two, the DSCR loan. Qualified on property's rents, not your tax return, with no cap on how many you can have. Gear three, compounding. Appreciation rising, tenants paying your loans, build up equity, and every few years you harvest it to run the machine faster. 1 million in, doubling roughly every 3 years, 7 doublings later, you're looking at a 9-figure portfolio. and your slice of it, the equity is north of 150 million. Almost nobody will actually do this, but now you know exactly the ones who do it do it. And remember, this is education, not personalized advice. Every deal today was round numbers to show you the machine. So before you move real money, talk to a licensed pro. That generally is what I'm here for. Now, before you go, I'm going to ask you straight, if this video just changed how you think about what your money can actually do, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. I don't say that as a throwaway line. This channel is still small, and every single like, every subscribe tells YouTube to show this to the next investor who's grinding it out in a slow way, because nobody ever showed them the gears. The person might be somebody you know. So if I earned it today, tap it, the like, hit the subscribe, and drop me a comment with your number. How many doors would be enough for you? 10, 50, 1,600? I'll see you in the next video.